There are some things that you cannot disclose to anyone, even if you think it would be helpful. Gender support plans cover lots of different things, and not all transgender students are interested in a gender support plan. Students can use the sex-segregated facility that corresponds with their gender identity they assert at school. So how they identify at school determines which restroom they choose to use. Students do not need a GSP to access a bathroom or locker room or to request specific names or pronouns for use by a staff member.
Let's say Michael wants to be called Michelle now, but there isn't a gender support plan or a gender support conversation, and they now want to use the girls' bathroom. We're supposed to allow them to do that.
Yes.
Undercover audio of an LGBTQ training session has been sent to Project Veritas by an educator within the Albuquerque public school system in New Mexico. We sent Project Veritas journalists there to investigate further.
We are funded by a 6-year CDC grant, and we do lots of different things. We provide support to all the gay-straight alliances in the district. We oversee safe zones throughout the entire district. Yes, elementary schools do have safe zones. We also help with gender support plans for our transgender students.
This program, the Safe Zone program, is something that my department runs. And what we do is we provide training to all the staff on how to support LGBTQ plus students. So we go in, we give explicit steps on how to support those students, what to do, how to intervene in negative language, how to do gender support plans, who to contact, all of that stuff. Safe zones are in all schools, elementary through high school. In middle schools, you generally see it at lunch. It's not always safe for them to go after school because generally there's permission slips that are involved and sometimes families won't sign it. So there's generally a middle school teachers that will give up their lunch to hold up a safe space.
That was Angela Ruiz, a representative of student health and life skills of Albuquerque Public Schools, describing her department as well as their funding from the CDC. The guidelines set forth from the agency to, quote, reduce youth risk behaviors through comprehensive health education, end quote, focus on protocols for LGBTQ plus students, which teachers must adhere to, even if it means circumventing parental involvement.
Gender support plans cover lots of different things, and not all transgender students are interested in a gender support plan. Generally, what happens is the principal or their Title IX designee contacts the Title IX office and says, hey, I have this student, they would like a gender support plan. There's only 3 people required at that plan: the administrator, the student, and the Title IX director.
So the gender support plan does not need parent input, just director, admin, and student?
Yes, there's 2 types. So if we don't have family input, it's called a conversation.
When we looked at Albuquerque Public Schools' website, we found their policy page regarding gender identity and expression. While most of the things Angela says are by the book, the policy fails to mention these 2 types of gender support plans and gives no indication that parents will be kept out of the loop regarding their children's gender identity.
APS staff are expected to use names and pronouns of students in accordance with their gender identity they assert at school. So the very moment Michelle comes to you and says, my name is Michael, I use he, him pronouns, you are required to use that name and those pronouns. There are some things that you cannot disclose to anyone, even if you think it would be helpful. So if a student comes to you and they disclose that they're a member of the LGBTQ plus community, or they disclose to you, hey, I'm transgender, or they come to you and say, yeah, my legal name is Michael, but I go by Michelle. Or they come to you and say, can you please use they, them pronouns? Any of these 4 pieces of information, you cannot tell anyone. What's really, really important is before you call home, find out how the student is addressed at home. Sadly, we have students that are not able to be out at home. They're not safe to be out at home. So when we're calling home, we want to make sure we're using what's in synergy, unless the student tells you otherwise. If you are intentionally using someone's wrong name after they've requested and told you you're intentionally using the wrong pronouns, that can be a Title IX violation. So again, once they say, I want this name and these pronouns, you are required to use those. Students can use the sex-segregated facility that corresponds with their gender identity they assert at school. So how they identify at school determines which restroom they choose to use. Students do not need a GSP to access a bathroom or locker room or to request specific names or pronouns for use by a staff member.
Let's say Michael wants to be called Michelle now, but there isn't a gender support plan or a gender support conversation, and they now want to use the girls' bathroom. We're supposed to allow them to do that.
Yes.
The CDC pumps millions of dollars a year into programs like this one across the country. Our ongoing reporting on this secret curriculum that prioritizes political and social messaging over education affects students and teachers alike. If you are on the inside of an educational institution and wish to further expose this misuse of our children's education, please reach out to VeritasTips@protonmail.com.